Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Taz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it's time for this week's Pokemon TCG live online match. Now, admittedly, I'm a little late on this, unfortunately. I usually like to have these up on Wednesdays, but I have no excuse other than the fact that I just wasn't as invested in doing it this week. Not that I didn't want to, just I didn't prioritize the time I needed to in order to get this done on time. But we're here now, and we're going to start taking a look at the BREAK Evolutions from the new Steam Siege expansion. Last week, a viewer named Danny Sixers did put the idea out there to take a look at Yanmega BREAK, and I figure that's as good a place as any to start. So it is going to be the focus of the deck, but almost more specifically, or at least as much on par, the basic, or at least stage 1 Yanmega in this set, because you'll see the ability comes in pretty handy as we take a look at the deck called Barrier Breaker. Now, full disclosure, that is the possibly least creative name I've come up with for a deck, simply because the attack of Yanmega itself is called Barrier Break. But I like to incorporate the word break somehow, and since it does break through the barriers, you know, kind of the name wrote itself. But anyway, let's take a look here at the cards. Now, first of all, I've got two Yanmega Yanmega Break that I'm including in the deck, 140 HP, and the attack Barrier Breaker for 3 colorless energy says it does 100 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness, resistance, or any other effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Just a nice straight 100 damage for the Yanmega Break's attack for 3 energy. And we've got 3 of the Yanmega and 3 Yanma as well. Not going to really focus on the Yanma too much because Yanmega is where it's all at. The ability of Sonic Vision. If you have exactly 4 cards in your hand, ignore all energy in the attack cost of each of this Pokemon's attacks. So, as long as I have 4 cards in hand, the Yanmega attack or the Yanmega Break attack can fire off without any energy being required to attach. The Assault Boom attack for 3 colorless. 50 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a tool attached to it, this does 70 more damage. So a nice 120, which is even more powerful than the Barrier Break. So depending on whether or not they have a tool, it's going to decide what attack I decide to go for. So 2 Yanmega Break, 3 Yanmega, and 3 Yanma. To try to ensure that we're going to have 4 cards in hand exactly, I'm including a couple of Pokemon right here, well, at least these Pokemon. 2 Octillery from the Breakthrough expansion with the Abyssal Hand Ability. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 5 in hand. So if I'm on a low count of cards in the hand and I need to get some into hand, I can use Octillery's ability, get up to 5. Hopefully one of those I'll be able to play out, because if so, I'll go down to 4, and therefore I can use the Yanmega's attack, or Yanmega Break's attack as well, for no energy required. And I'm not going to really see Octillery do much battling, but we do have a couple water energy in the deck, just in case Octillery does find itself active and need to go for the nice powerful hug attack of 40 damage, preventing the defending Pokemon from retreating on the next turn. Must be the suction cups on the tentacles. So, we've got 2 Octillery and 3 Remoraid just to get them into play. And I wanted to throw in some more basic Pokemon, so I put a couple of Deerling from the Fates Collide expansion with Find a Friend. For just 1 energy, search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Like an Ultra Ball, except you don't lose cards from hand, plus it does end your turn, of course. So Deerling is going to be here essentially just to find Pokemon and then get knocked out. Or if need be, I can retreat for the 1 energy as well. But that's going to help us find our evolutions for Yanma, Yanmega, as well as the Octillery. Those are going to be the 15 Pokemon. It's going to focus on using Yanmega and Yanmega Break for the attacking, of course, so hopefully we can get them into play and keep them there. Now let's scroll down to the energy. We do have, just in case we can't make use of the Sonic Vision ability, a couple of double colorless to help power up the Yanmega Break a little bit faster. Plus I got 5 basic fire energy and 2 basic water. You might be thinking, why fire energy? Well, I'll explain that as we get to the trainer cards, starting at the top. Now we have 2 energy retrievals, because we're going to be losing some energy, as you will see. An escape rope to handle maneuverability. If they Lysandre up my Octillery with a high retreat cost, escape rope is one way I can bring it back to the bench and bring the Yanmega back up. Nice thing about the Yanmega I didn't mention is free retreat, of course. So if something happens, I need to switch something into the active spot, I can bring Yanmega, free retreat, right back to the bench, bring whatever else up I need to at that point. I've got 2 level balls to help find any Pokemon of 90 HP or less. That's going to be the Deerling, the Yanma, the Remoraid, or the Octillery. Octillery only has 90 HP. That could come in handy. 2 max potions, because if I'm going to be using these attacks without any energy requiring to be attached, I can use the max potion to heal all damage from a Pokemon, then discard all energy attached. So if Yanmega can attack with no energy, I'm not losing anything by using that max potion. All I'm doing is curing all the damage off. I've got 2 Professor's Letters to find a few basic energy from the deck, 2 per use of that card, of course. And since there's a number of repeat Pokemon, I'm including a couple of repeat balls from Primal Clash. Search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one Pokemon you have in play, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So if I have a Yanmega Break already out there, I need another one, repeat ball can find that for me. Now, I got 2 Super Rods in here. I really like running this with Professor Sycamore. Shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from the discard pile back into the deck. I always find myself with a nice hand of cards that I want to play, but I can't. For example, if I have a Stage 2, I can't play the Stage 1s out. Problem is, in that hand, I quite often have Professor Sycamore. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards. Now, I don't want to lose the good cards in hand, but I kind of need to in certain situations. But Super Rod can, of course, shuffle back any Pokemon I'm losing by doing that. So, I've got a switch card as well. Again, basically, if the Octillery needs to be switched around, switch can come in handy. Not going to lose 2 energy for the retreat cost, fortunately. There are 2 Ultra Balls. Discard 2 other cards from hand. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, I can use that in conjunction with the Professor's Letter to find 2 basic energy, discard those using the Ultra Ball, and then energy retrieval them back into hand if need be. The last items are going to be a couple of Versus Seekers, bringing back any of the supporters I've already used and discarded. And the first way we're going to try to ensure we get 4 cards in hand, I'm including 2 copies of Judge. Each player shuffles their hand into the deck and then draws 4 cards. If that's the last card I play that turn, I'm at 4 cards. Of course, I could find some cards that I can play out, like a level ball, bring a Pokemon back into hand. As long as I can keep my hand at 4 cards, I can use the Yanmega and Yanmega's attacks for 0 energy attached. Lysandre is always useful, always necessary, I say, maneuvering the opponent's Pokemon around, and 2 Versus Seekers in the deck means I can technically use Lysandre 3 times if necessary. I have a Pokemon Center Lady, healing 60 damage and special conditions from a Pokemon. Naturally, it's going to be the active one, probably Yanmega BREAK, trying to make sure we stay in the battle and cure any paralysis or sleep, whatever we might be happening to hit with. We have a Pokemon Fan Club in the deck. I was going to put Bridget in the deck, but I want to have the ability to put cards into hand. Therefore, Pokemon Fan Club is the way to go. If I only have, say, 2 cards and the Fan Club, I can play Fan Club and bring 2 basics, getting me to 4 cards. Therefore, Yanmega can then attack for 0 energy. I've also got, of course, the Professor Sycamore. Shauna is sort of like Octillery in a way. I shuffle my hand into the deck, then draw 5 cards back, and if one of those cards can be played, again, I'm at 4 cards in hand. I can use whatever Yanmega or Yanmega BREAK attack I would like to. I've got 2 Skylas in here as well. Search your deck for any trainer card, reveal it, and put it into hand. Very useful for finding whatever card you need, like a level ball, repeat ball, what have you. And I've got Xerosic as well. Choose a Pokemon tool or special energy card in play, attach to either side, and discard it. Good for if anyone has like a defensive thing, or maybe even a Spirit Link they haven't Mega Evolved yet. You can clear that off with Xerosic. And to evolve the Pokemon up faster, now we only have the use of grass types to evolve faster. Forest of Giant Plants, each player's grass Pokemon can evolve during their first turn or the turn they play those Pokemon. If I can manage to get all 3, Yanma, Yanmega, Yanmega BREAK in hand, drop that Stadium, gonna evolve right up into Yanmega BREAK, and if I have 4 cards at that point, I can suddenly be doing 100 damage immediately. And just for some more card manipulation, or hand manipulation, I suppose I should say, I've got 2 Scorched Earths. If I am low on cards, I can discard a Fire Energy from hand. That's why the Fire Energy is in the deck. Discard that Fire Energy, draw 2 cards, and hopefully I can manipulate my hand down to 4 cards. Again, it's all going to focus on trying to get the 4 cards in hand for Yanmega to attack for free. But there are ways they can shut that down, of course. Wobbuffet with Bide Barricade can prevent all abilities except for Psychic types being used. Hexmania could also shut down the Sonic Vision, so that's why I'm including some energy plus the double colorless to try to power up the attack. Once we do get enough energy on the Yanmega, I'm not going to really need to focus on keeping 4 cards in hand, fortunately. And the last items are 4 tool cards, 2 for me, 2 for the opponent. I've got 2 Muscle Bands. Now, this is, I think, the last week, or at least one of the last weeks that we're going to be in the standard format before the new rotation comes in. Therefore, I can still use Muscle Band. It's going to be rotated out when the 2017 season standard formation comes into play. But for the time being, I can still use this, adding 20 more damage to Yanmega BREAK's attack because the attack says it's not affected by effects on the opponent's active Pokemon, but it is affected by your own Pokemon, so therefore Muscle Band does work. If the opponent has something that does damage and says damage from the defending Pokemon is reduced, that would still count because it's an effect on my Pokemon, not theirs. But there are not too many instances you see of people doing that, therefore Muscle Band will come in pretty handy. And to make use of, what's it called? The Assault Boom, if the opponent has a tool attached. If we're fighting a Pokemon EX, I've got 1 of each Team Flare Hyper Gear in the deck. I've got the Head Ringer, which increases the attack cost of a Pokemon EX it's attached to by 1 colorless, and I've got the Jamming Net. The attacks of the Pokemon EX's card is attached to do 20 less to all defending Pokemon. So I don't really care that much for the effects of these things. All I want to do is find ourselves fighting Pokemon EX, throw one of those tools on, suddenly the Assault Boom is going to be doing 120 plus even 20 more if I throw a Muscle Band on Yanmega BREAK. So that is going to be the deck for the Yanmega BREAK for this week. 15 Pokemon, only 9 energy cards, and 36 trainer cards. Let's jump into some matches right now in Pokemon TCG Online and see how well the first of the BREAK evolutions of Steam Siege do in this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. Alright, we are going up against Snidol with a Lightning, Fairy, Fighting, and Darkness deck. Interesting, a lot of different types in there. Could be some pretty interesting strategies going on. Let's call for the nice, fancy leaf side of the coin, and we get the leaf side of the coin. We take the first turn. Of course we don't, because this is Professor Chaz we're talking about. The opponent always gets to choose who goes first. I shouldn't say that, though. It is, in my experience, it's more on their side than mine. But regardless, we get the first turn, and we have so many basic Pokemon to play out. We have the Yanma, we got the Florges for some reason. But wait, they didn't have a basic either. Alright, so we're still on an even playing field. We have a Remoraid, almost said Yanma. And we've got Professor Sycamore also in hand. So I can use him once I play some of this stuff out. I'll probably level ball for a Yanma, bench it, throw a double colorless to it, put the Muscle Band on, Sycamore away. And we might have something to work with. Alright, so we are taking the first turn. We see we're up against a Blastoise-EX, which is, of course, weak to Grass type. So we're going to level ball. I might want to level ball for Octillery. Because we can retreat it. Or we can retreat this for 1 energy. On the next turn, I can, of course, play the Octillery. Let's put a Muscle Band to the Yanma. And I'm not going to Sycamore, of course, just yet, because I just got the Octillery. Let's end the turn there. Even if they get a double colorless and a Muscle Band, they still can't take Yanma down in a single hit, which is fortunate. And they only got 1 energy anyway, so we are safe for a turn, but what else can they play out from hand? Not a thing. So let's go ahead and play into the Octillery. Do I want to use Professor's Letter? I kind of do. Here's my idea. I want to thin the deck out. I'm going to take a couple of energy, probably a 1 water, 1 fire. And I'm simply going to Sycamore them away. If things work out properly, I'm not going to need to use energy to attack. I'm still going to put this to the Yanma in case, but I'm going to Sycamore now. And by getting rid of 2 basic energy that I might not need to attack, that's 2 less basic energy cards that I'm going to draw into. So we did pick up the Yanmega. And we have a Remoraid. But hang on here. If I Ultra Ball 2 cards away, that goes down to 4 cards. I draw a card into hand. No, get rid of 3 cards, draw a Pokemon into hand. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to Ultra Ball the Remoraid and the Shauna. And I'm going to choose another Pokemon. Let's just grab, I think, another Yanma. I'm not going to play it, though, because I can now go for the Assault Boom, which will do double damage. Plus 20, so that's going to do 70, 140 damage already. Bam! 1 more hit and the Blastoise-EX is done. Now, problem is, they could go for the Rapid Spin, and it switches my Pokemon around. But I can always Skyla for an Escape Rope, switch things around, and use Octillery to draw back to 5, play a Yanmega BREAK. I think I'm in a good spot. Go ahead and try that Rapid Spin. Hit me with what you got. And Tierna. Okay, so they could find some more Pokemon. This match might not be over just yet. I'm just listening to the nice Team Plasma music. There's another Pokemon. Alright, Kangaskhan. Now, we don't have the type advantage over that. We do have over that, though. What I'm hoping to find is one of the Team Flare Hyper Gears. So there is the Rapid Spin, of course. They switch Pokemon, and then we switch Pokemon. I thought they'd send up the normal type, or the colorless type. We don't have the type advantage over it. Alright, so now we have a Yanmega BREAK. I will play the Skyla. Grab myself an Escape Rope. In fact, yeah, the Escape Rope's the best way to go, because they're going to bring up one of their Pokemon that are weak to grass. Alright, Escape Rope away. And now, I can use the Abyssal Hand to draw up to 5 cards. Technically, the way you would normally do this is I would play out as much cards from hand as possible to get up to 5 cards. You know, maximize your drawing support. But the idea here is I want to be able to play one of the 5 cards that I wind up with, and I do have that Yanma in hand. Therefore, I will do the Abyssal Hand first. And we actually find a tool card. So let's go ahead and attach that to the Kyogre. And go for the nice, powerful Assault Boom, dropping the Kyogre. 2 prizes are taken. Alrighty, so we're in a pretty good spot. Energy Retrieval and a Max Potion. So Blastoise comes up now. Now it could go for the Splash Burn of 120, which admittedly would be bad. But they might knock them... No, they won't knock themselves out. They won't do enough damage in recoil. So we grab a couple of basic energy, Water and Lightning. Let's see, do they go for the damage? They do. Alright, so Octillery will be just taking a hit. And there's the Splash Bomb. Now they could, of course, hurt themselves for a little bit, which they don't. Alright, so Octillery, go on up there. We've got a Level Ball for another Remoraid. We've got Yanma down here. So we're not completely done just yet, of course. And let's put this to the Kangaskhan. Okay, let's go ahead, as I say, Level Ball away, grab ourselves a Remoraid. And we do have Octillery in hand as well. Energy Retrieval, what is all in here? We have 2 basic fire, 1 basic water. I'm going to Energy Retrieval right now and grab just the 2 fire, I think. I'll put 1 to the Yanma in case we can't make use of the Sonic... Is it Sonic Vision? Yes. And we'll Abyssal Hand for 1 card. Could be the card that we need. Well, not that we need it, but we can make use of. And, in the turn, allow them to go ahead and use another Splash Bomb, unless they want to go for Rapid Spin and save their Blastoise back to the bench. That could be a thing. Double Colorless added to the Kangaskhan EX as Emolga EX. We're fighting nothing but EXs. Alright then. And a Muscle Band added to the Emolga. Probably want to make sure I don't put another tool on it. And Splash Bomb. Will you hurt yourself with this one? You will. Alright, so he's going to do 10 damage to you. But we don't have anyone that can do 10 damage. Not yet, anyway. I'm going to send this Yanma up. Take a hit, possibly, unless we can evolve into Yanmega. Not with that we can't, but we can go ahead and play the Octillery. I'm going to put another energy onto the Yanma. And now let's go ahead and Abyssal Hand. Draw 2 more cards. And what do we find? We find ourselves, not what I was hoping for, but we do have Scorched Earth now. Play that, discard a fire energy, draw 2 more cards, find ourselves Forest of Giant Plants, and we have a Judge. So I'm going to shuffle back in, first of all, the Yanmega BREAK, and what else do we have in there? Probably shuffle back in one of the Remoraid, no, Octillery. Shuffle all 3 of them back in. Now we're going to play that Judge, and hope we can get a Yanmega. The opponent, of course, is going to shuffle in as well, go down from 7 cards down to just 4. And... wouldn't you know it, we find the Yanmega. But, problem is, I do not have enough cards in hand to be able to attack with it, so I might want to wait. I'm going to hang on to the cards for the time being. On the next turn, if I don't find an energy, I can evolve the other Yanma into Yanmega, therefore I will have 4 cards in hand, being able to knock out the Blastoise-EX. And the Kindred Kick can do 100 total. Well, only 80 thanks to the jamming net. Look, EX after EX after EX. I like it. Not really like it, but it's interesting, let's just say that. So we do see the Scorched Earth is working for the opponent as well. They discard a fighting energy to draw 2 more cards. Now they're going to go for the Splash Bomb, because they risk knocking themselves out with that. But they can't knock us out in a single hit if they don't go for it. Rapid Spin, alright, 30 damage. Not bad. And what decides to come up? Something with a tool, perhaps. It does have a tool. Alright, so let's send up this Yanma. We can evolve both, but depending on what we find in hand... Actually, no, I can evolve both, because we can use the Octillery Abyssal Hand, of course. And if... well, I can get rid of the double colorless. Yes, because I can use the Abyssal Hand, of course. Draw back up to 5, and I can play that Repeat Ball to get a basic Pokemon if necessary, to get my hand back down to 4. So we find another Yanmega BREAK, Max Potion. I can use that to heal this one up. Probably the best idea. And I haven't used the Scorched Earth yet, so I can play out the Professor's Letter. I'll just grab a water and a fire. No, you know what? 2 fire. because if need be, I can make use of the Scorched Earth next turn as well. And that's going to draw 2 cards, so I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to Repeat Ball for a basic Pokemon. Apparently we don't have... Oh no, I don't have any basics in play. I was thinking like a level ball. But, fortunately, we still can make use of this. We're going to attach this to the Yanmega. Now we can go for the... Since we now have enough energy to attack, we don't need to use the Sonic Vision, I'm going to go ahead and Scorched Earth. Discard that, draw 2 cards, find ourselves a Fan Club. Fortunately, we can still Assault Boom for 120 damage. Unless they have another double colorless, they can't hit us for anything back just yet. They can triple draw. That's about it. Now, if we can get Lysandre... Did I use Lysandre? I think I already have. No, not yet. Lysandre is still in the deck somewhere. I can just bring up the Blastoise-EX and go for the KO, of course. Looks like they gave a Water Energy to the Glaceon-EX. And triple draw, so they know they're about to lose the Yanmega, which is alright. Now we're going to Break Evolve both of them. Unfortunately, we don't get the chance, because as you saw, I guess we were poised to win that one. It's unfortunate when the opponent does quit early, because you don't get to see the full effect of the deck, but I guess you basically saw it in play, so this wasn't a wasted bit of footage. But let's see if I can go for one more quick match. Alright, our final opponent is Skycrows with a Water-type deck with the advantage. He's got the Blastoise deck box too. He's using the sleeves. Uh-oh. We're overpowered here. Let's call for heads. And we actually got heads. Okay, that's kind of a rare occurrence, but we'll take it. Alrighty, so let's see. It's a water deck, which means they could have some nice weakness to grass. We only have one basic in hand, but it's Deerling, which will be useful if we were going second, because we could attack immediately. But fortunately, they don't have fire Pokemon, therefore we don't need to worry about the weakness, super effective, advantage over us, type-wise. Okay, we've got Fan Club. I can get 2 basics. Professor's Letter, also good. Level Ball, find an Octillery for draw support. Not a bad hand to start with, I will say. I love the Team Plasma music. That was... Okay, when I get into the playthroughs of Gen 5, I will have a lot of not particularly happy stuff to say about Pokemon Gen 5, but the music was amazing, I will say that. Let's grab a Yanma, let's grab a Remoraid, let's bench both of these Pokemon. Gonna Level Ball, of course, for the Octillery. I used to play the game in the sense that if I can't play the card immediately, I want to hang on to the Level Ball. Okay, if I use Level Ball and then they somehow shuffle away with N or Judge, I've just lost the Level Ball searching item, and I can't, therefore, make use of the Pokemon I find with it. But I now understand the importance of thinning your deck as soon as you can. Draw stuff out. That way, next turn, I've already drawn an Octillery. I might draw something a little bit more useful. For example, I'm going to play Professor's Letter as well. Grab a couple of Fire Energy. Let's grab the Generations ones. And those are 2 more basic energy that, assuming the opponent does not cause me to shuffle my hand back to the deck, those are 2 less basics that I'm going to wind up drawing. Therefore, could get a nice, useful trainer card. And the opponent takes the turn next, so we're leading with a Psyduck on the opposing side. If we could evolve into Yanmega immediately, that could really be disruptive to the opponent. I think probably I'm going to Professor Sycamore. I don't think I need to put the Deerling down. Fire Energy, we're not going to use that right now. We're going to Sycamore. What do we find? We find ourselves no Yanmega, unfortunately. However, we could find it with the Scorched Earth. Let's go ahead and play that. And discard. Probably can't get the hand down to 4 cards, unfortunately. Versus Seeker. We can find a friend, though. Let's find ourselves a Yanmega right now. And there we go. Now, if I had known how things were going to happen, I would have probably attached a Fire Energy to Yanma, just in case I get a double colorless, therefore I could power up without needing the Sonic Vision. But the cards played as they played. I do have Judge, however, I just noticed. Stampede. And I think this is the quick match I was talking about, because let's go ahead and evolve into Yanmega. We're going to retreat. And just in case I manage to get Yanmega BREAK, I'm going to drop the Force of Giant Plants. We are going to... Might as well heal that up, because we can. Now, I'm doing the thing I just said, playing out a bunch of cards I don't need to, but I want to see if I can get Yanmega BREAK in play. So we're going to Judge away. Yes, I'm okay with losing these cards. See if we can get the Yanmega BREAK to get the KO. Not quite, but I can Octillery now for the Abyssal Hand. Let's just see what we find. This could have just cost me the game, unfortunately, because if I can't play this card, which I can, fortunately, okay, good. Play out that card. Shuffle in whatever. Yeah, let's grab everything. Stop lagging, computer, I'm about to win. Alright, shuffle that back in. We're at 4 cards, therefore we can Assault Boom for free. Let's just do it. And boom. And that's the quick one. So, with the right setup, Yanmega can be pretty devastating, especially with type effectiveness and advantage over the opponent. And victory. The stars are just frozen on screen for me. They don't want to leave. They want to celebrate the win. Alright, there we go. The victory wheel. 3 more tokens, and that's a wrap. So that there is a nice showcase of the power of Yanmega BREAK with the Barrier Break attack, using the Muscle Band to power it up a little bit more, but also the Assault Boom of the regular Yanmega, plus the Sonic Vision ability, allowing you to attack for 0 energy. Very useful. That is going to be a wrap for the Pokemon TCG Live Online match for the week. Come on back next week, and feel free to leave a comment down below this week. Let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see for next week's video. As I say, I'm trying to focus on the BREAK evolutions for start, because there's a lot in this set. We have done Yanmega BREAK. There is currently still Clawitzer BREAK. We have Hydreigon BREAK, Pyroar BREAK, Talonflame BREAK, Xerneas BREAK, and Yveltal BREAK. So if you have any particular one that you'd like to see for next week's video, just leave that in a comment down below. I'll see if I can put together a cool strategy using that Pokemon and some other Pokemon from possibly this new set or the past few sets or so. I'm not sure exactly when the standard format rotates for the 2017 season, but I always like to show off standard decks on the channel. Therefore, as soon as the rotation happens, it's going to probably tweak the way I do things. For example, this week, if I did standard, I wouldn't have been able to use the Muscle Band. So that put in a lot more damage for us, fortunately. But if it gets rotated out, it gets rotated out. And I like thinking on my feet, you know, try to strategize based on the current standard format. So anyway, as I say, if you want to see any of these BREAK evolutions for next week, leave a comment down below. Also, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the matches today. If you thought of any different ways I could make the deck a little bit better, or different strategies I could have played out during the match, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. And if anything, if you have any good, suggestions to make, anyone out there that wants to sort of recreate this deck for themselves could take your suggestions into account as well. With all that being said, we're going to wrap up this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match. I want to say thank you for checking it out. Come on back next week for another one. And Professor Chaz is signing off. I'll catch you next time.